This is cool. You see all this? Just huge piles of gravel and boulders. This is a natural. And over here is the creek I was camping next to. And look at the size of this. And they just keep going on and on and on. And you actually can see it from satellite. You see how they've got these little lines? Little ridges. I'll tell you what it is in a little bit. It's gonna blow your mind. This goes on for 6 miles. And this is it. This is Yankee Ford's dredge. This thing was built, believe it or not, in Milwaukee in the early 1900s and assembled 6 miles down this stream. It's a floating gold refinery, not refinery, dredge. These huge buckets go way down into the ground, scoop up gravel, carry it up into the processing plant. We'll go inside in a little bit, where it's filtered and the gold is recovered, and all that gravel comes out the back. Thank you, Gold Rush. So I know what the hell this is. I wonder if Terry Beats will come down and buy it. This elevator swivels back and forth, dropping all those tailings. And that's where you see all the gravel going back and forth in those patterns. And it just decimated this valley. They're working to try and restore it, and the fish are coming back, but what the hell do you do with something like this? So they turned it into a tourist attraction. This thing's huge. Now, upstairs, that was the bridge. And here is the massive motor that, there's the buckets coming up. Rock ejector. The buckets would dump everything into here unless they saw a monster rock. And that's what this gate would open up. So they could get the rock here and fall into this and out the side. And the rest of the tailings will go down. That's the, I want to say Dremel, but it's basically a great big tumbler. And that's what would turn all the rocks would go out the chute and in the elevator, and the gold would fall to the bottom. Can't imagine how loud this thing had to be. Yep. Right down there. And all the rocks will go out the bottom, the back. And I was wrong. This thing doesn't swing back and forth on its own like other ones. The whole boat pivots on a huge anchor. That's a spike that goes trommel. Thank you. Oh, there it is, the spud. Right here. That would, it'd drop that into the ground and, or hit the bedrock, and that was what this thing would swivel back and forth on. And then if they need, when they moved, they'd lift it up and the buckets would pull it forward. This is steep. There's the angry big broken gear out in the front. Jeez. $62.50 an hour. Why would you work for 62.50 an hour? Obviously, they didn't have Joe in office. Alright, here's the sluice box, so everything would come. Alright, that's all making sense. Down here, it would collect all of the heavier material, and the gold would fall into the bottom, and all the rest in the water would go out the sides.
I'm filming, so I don't want to.
Oh, fun. And how many horsepower are these apiece?
Actually, they were at this elevation, and they ran them at 600 RPMs, so they're roughly about 350 horse.
That's something.
Yeah,
they're massive.
My Ford truck up at the campground has got 425 horse.
And that's
But you know how we say they don't make things like they used to?
Yep.
So I put your camera right there.
Oh, okay. Look at the size of that can.
Hasn't run since 1953.
It still turns over.
It still turns. And still has compression.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh my goodness. God, that is a lot of weight. That is so cool.
Yeah, well, these engines were assembled on the deck. They were shipped in their major components and then assembled on the deck. And we know this because we have pictures when they're doing the construction where you can see this is set and the other components haven't been set yet.
Okay. 7 cylinders. Huh.
These are actually what they would consider marine class.
Okay.
So very, very reminiscent of what would have been in your ships and subs at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Actually had an old Navy submariner give me some education, saying this is almost identical to the engine he had in his sub.
Yeah.
The one major difference was our engine here ran combustion in all 7 cylinders. On the submarine, the 7th cylinder was their air compressor.
Interesting. Crazy. Let me see, how much is it? Oh, so they ran all the time, never stopped down that?
Yeah, it's just like I worked in the oil field for a decade, and just like our big fluid pumps, it was, even if one pump could achieve what we needed, we preferred to split it between 2 pumps, because in the long run it was actually easier on both pumps.
Sure.
Same premise here. One could supply enough juice, but overall they tried to run them both to make it easier load on each.
Easier 50% for 2 engines versus one red line in the whole time. Man, this is cool. And this is the museum over here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of cold.
A little chilly. Yeah, this time of the year it can be a little chilly on here, but in August, it's great because it's like working in air conditioning.
Yeah.